Yeah,
pyRevit.
we get the whole Archilizer team now.
Oh yeah. So I was looking at this last night, and under settings in pyRevit, the pages. So it has the site is live at this address, which I think is because I've set my domain under my account to ein.csh. But that's like my personal sort of, blog when I post crazy things there. Um, I was looking at this, and then you can do a custom domain from here. So I can say like pyrevit labs.io. Maybe we already have the docs. Let me go to
Yeah,
name.
so you would need to create a subdomain for that.
Yeah, so account dashboard. Let me log in here. Okay, so Private Labs, it has a bunch of redirects, but we already have docs going to developer docs. I guess I can use that one and reroute it to this. Or if you have any other suggestions for the subdomain name,
Yeah, docs makes sense.
this goes to developer docs, so we can, I guess we can remove it, but I'm not sure how many other places we have used this in.
Probably mostly Notion, I would say. I can't remember if I saw that anywhere else. So yeah, that would be nice to redirect to the
Docs.
ein.sh.
What's we can, I guess I can change this to dev docs, for example.
Yeah, and then create a new one and just create the
Yeah,
docs
so
one.
this part, what is it? GitHub will do that. So if I do this, I kind of fiddled with it last night a little.
But in your you didn't create the docs one. You just
Oh,
renamed.
I don't have to make it there. So GitHub has the rerouting to their servers
Okay.
built in. So you can just do this now, and it goes to the documentation page in theory.
Yeah, but it may need to be published again, I guess.
I guess so. Or maybe I have to put it. Yeah, let's give it a second just to see if this actually works. It might be conflicting with the other one. Try something else. DNS check unsuccessful.
Yeah, you probably need to create the subdomain on the DM in your thing. That's
Oh,
the
okay, DNS settings are the custom subdomain. They said that was an A record. We recommend we change this to senior record to pointing to index. So for example, I see. It has to, yeah, we have to wait a little for that DNS to A record on the DNS for the docs to update
yeah
to get
to
removed, basically, because this used to have the
you
docs.
need to have a docs. Yeah, you
Yeah.
need to have a subdomain, extra
But the
one.
URL for this would be, I don't know if there's a direct URL for this pages thing instead of this.
You mean the GitHub one?
Yeah, because it says like, for example, if it would be like a more direct GitHub pages, a more direct URL, not this
You can get the URL going to the actions.
actions.
If you go under actions, I guess you go in the docs deployment, pages build deployment on the left. Oh no, that would be the other one. Yeah. If you go into one of the latest one, not the CNAME, but one
What
of
does this do? Oxford lab. Seen and where did this? Oh, I see. I see. Okay. I wish they had a like a normal. Hmm. Because if I put the docs, the problem is like if I put the docs.pyrelab.io, I don't have a place to redirect it to, you know?
Oh, I see you. Yeah.
Because it doesn't give me the original URL, the
But
direct URL of this page.
if
The
you
old
check,
website, the old GitHub pages used to have that URL, and then you could wrap it, you could reroute it from it like
yeah,
a
so
different
maybe that's in the
domain
workflow.
name.
Needs to be changed in the workflow.
I think we have to wait a little for my domain, the Pirate Labs ODNS, to drop the docs, the Pirate Lab from its CNAME. So this can take over that. So basically my browser, I feel like it's getting confused right now. Where does it go? Pages. Try this somewhere else.
I don't see it.
Hmm. Nope. Let's try something else in here. Hmm. It's complicated. How about configuring custom domains? Okay, I'll take a look at this. I want to
Yeah,
make it.
so that it doesn't go to your personal website directly, but
Yeah,
to,
yeah, because right now it's sitting behind the INDESH.
yeah,
If it would give me the original URL, not the direct, I could just put it on the DNS and reroute it to here.
you
But I'm not quite sure how to build that from this
maybe Andrea, do you know where it is? The GitHub IO URL, no?
pages direct URL. Let's see. Oh, you know what? Oh, I see. Okay, I know where the problem is. I remember I did something on the ein.esh so I can connect it to GitHub. I think I have to do the same on this one. Okay, we'll figure this out. But I don't think there's a page in here that I can say like pages or docs. Nope. Okay, I'll figure this out.
Okay, good.
Do you have any other place that we want to reroute to this new URL, new place?
No, nothing special on my side.
I checked the repo last night. We didn't have any links to the original read the docs.
Yeah,
And I checked what is it, the
the
wiki
Notion
also.
page as well. The Notion
Yeah.
page is removed already.
Okay.
And the on the Notion page, and I think on the repo, I already changed it to the your personal website address for now, and I can bring it
Yeah.
back to.
Yeah, I saw that. I got rid of that deprecated part because the URL wasn't working anymore. Um, I'll make sure that this is rerouted to like docs.pyrevitlabs.io.
Sense.
I kind of also wanted to, I don't know if you have an agenda for the discussion for today, but I wanted to put this on the table so we can start talking about moving PyRevit stuff, maybe the repo even under the PyRevit Labs uh, organization,
Like
where the other,
the whole repo and control that from there.
yeah, because like I feel like you guys are the primary maintainers right now, and it's, it's just everything is under my name still, and I feel like, everybody should be able to get the credit for it. If it's part of the pyRevit labs, it would be, maybe we can do this for pyRevit 5. This new
That would make
to
sense.
download.
I don't know how much impact it will have on the workflows and everything, but that would be, I mean, we'll have to change all the addresses everywhere. So that means on your Twitter, on the link, whatever, LinkedIn, on Notion.
Well, there are a couple, yeah, we don't have a whole lot of references to the GitHub repo. And the GitHub repo under my name will stay there, but it will just stay for pyRevit 4, whatever that we have.
Okay, so you would
5
keep,
would be a fork of that repo that will go under pyRevit Labs organization.
so pyRevit
And
4 would live for quite a few years, like 2 or 3 extra years, and then after that we'll close that
yeah,
one.
we can decide when to drop supporting 4. It's probably gonna be like next year or something like that. I don't know. Basically we won't do any improvements on 4 anymore because all the efforts are focused on 5, and then I can archive the 4. The repo will stay there forever.
Yeah.
Downloads, all that kind of stuff will stay there.
I mean, that would be easier to manage all the things like security,
Yeah,
groups, users, and all that, which is,
and I can get it like a shared 1Password account or something like that you or other people, maintainers will have access to, with the YouTube channel, Twitter, like all the other stuff that we have to sort of like share.
yeah, that would make sense.
And then if we need to get anything else, we can pay off of the Patreon supporters money that we're getting. I think that's about $300 a month now. So if we can need other services that we want. Currently, I'm only paying for Notion and Discourse. Like if you want a better Discourse server, more space, that kind of stuff.
Makes sense. And to me, having everything under pyRevit Labs would make sense. Just, yeah. So that, so that people don't get your face every time they try to type pyRevit.
Well, it makes me feel bad because I know like I haven't been touching this for like, a year and a half now, and you guys are the main maintainers. And it still says copyright X on. I'm like, not really anymore.
Copyright pyRevit Labs.
Yeah, it's like at least we have that the nice contributors thing on the bottom of the repo now, on the README, so that's nice. It's turned into a whole organization now. It's just not me anymore.
Yeah, I see all these fancy people around.
Yeah, I was looking at the work that you guys did on .NET Core, and apparently it's building now, right? Do we have an installer for it?
I wouldn't be the one to answer. Bizarre. I don't know if you
So
want to.
how's that going?
I don't know if you can talk. I'm asking in text so that it's easier maybe for him. Because this is the one that is behind. I mean, he did most of the work.
Yeah.
I don't even know where to pick up after him because I'm lost in what he did already.
Yeah, I saw that you were able to build on the
Yeah. All the solution that he pointed out, I was able to build with no issue whatsoever,
nice.
which is nice.
.NET Core, yeah.
Main build is work. The dependency needs update to .NET Core. And talking about dependencies, I think Andrea, you took a you did try the Python net at one point.
Yeah, yes, yeah. I tried to. Well, we talked about the last time. I did try to update the Python net library for the level 4 branch, but uh, it's a bit complicated. So I thought to wait until the .NET Core thing is up and running. So I will try this week if I have some time to do it. But still, it's still in a waiting phase.
Do you guys? Okay. I guess so. Do you guys have access to the? I see that Bizev has shared that link for IronPython 2, the
Yeah.
clone, the fork that we have under pyRevit Labs. So I'm assuming you guys have access to these forks on that live under pyRevit Labs, right? Like we have one for Python Net, for IronPython 2. DLR also. Those are the custom compilations that we do on IronPython to change the assembly name so it doesn't conflict with other people.
And there's no open pull request that I see. But they can PR and I can merge it. I know I have access to that.
Okay.
I don't know if maybe Andrea or Bizel you want to get the access to be able to at least do the pull request properly and merge it if you want to, if you need to.
Yeah, I think it makes sense for any of us that are part of the sort of like the maintainers of pyRevit to all be part of that organization now, especially if we want to move pyRevit repo at some point in there. So I
Okay,
can add everybody there, or you can add everybody there. I think there's only one team right now, pyRevit developers, and me and Mark are on it.
Yeah, I cannot add people, I think. No, I
Wait, let me
cannot.
see. What is your, let's see, what is your role here? Change role. Okay, I made you an owner. So you and I are both owners of that pyRevit Labs now. Okay.
I'm gonna try to add right away some Zoom. I can't find you. What's your name again? I forgot.
Andrea Gensi.
Yes. You have the same ID on GitHub and Discord, right?
Yes, I updated it last week because
Okay, it seems like Vizav is working on, like there's an action on the repo to build pyRevit on .NET Core. So he's working on that. It's got some build errors, but it seems like he's continuing with that. Nice. This is exciting. One of the things that I have to do also that I'm hoping to do in the next couple of months is to reach out to the Python net developers and tell them basically that I have about 14 pull requests ready for them to go into the upstream Python net. And I submitted a pull request last year, but it took him such a long time to review. And I kind of wanted to reach out and say, hey, if you're ready, I'm going to send all of these one by one. Let's get them reviewed and merged into the source. Because there's a lot of improvements. Like I basically rewrote the whole method binder in Python net. So you can find the .NET methods in a fashion that's closer to IronPython. You can subclass classes easier. Like what we use in Rhino now, it's a lot better. It feels a lot more appropriate for a scripting environment than the plain Python net. Because in plain Python net, for example, you can't really subclass abstract classes. It gives you a lot of like trouble like that. Or you cannot overload let's say you're creating a .NET type, the Python type in PythonNet for CPython, and you can't really overload some of the methods like get attribute or str or repr. You can't really overload these methods, but with our changes in Rhino 8, you can. So it's sort of like a better, it's much more, I don't want to say advanced, much more, it has a lot more fixes in it.
I'm still trying to add Andrea and Biza to all the repos in the dev teams. The dev team has only 4 repo attached to it, so I'm gonna attach the other ones.
Okay.
It's easier.
Okay, I saw the invitation and joined.
You got it?
Yes, I got it. I mean,
Well, welcome. If anyone else needs or wants to contribute, just let me know and I'll just add you. There, I'm inviting. Get on. One thing I wanted to mention, just because the latest release, there was still the same issue with Revit Python wrapper, and with the engines, the old ones didn't match and didn't pass on the proper code context. It was fixed afterwards. So if you see that you get the RPW load component requiring 3 arguments instead of 2, I'm thinking out loud about Daria, because I know you have a lot of flex form in it. You will need to use the whip installer for pyRevit, or to match, or to use another one with the oldest engine. And that will work either way. Anything else someone wants to talk about? No? I can bring another topic again. When we check Open Collective last time, talking about the way to handle the money of Patreon or whatever sponsor, I checked the website a bit. I got a better understanding of it. So they have organization within that Open Collective that allows you to host the money wherever you want on their own account, and they take a fee basically to host that. And you can make your accounting through them and do your own payment the way you want from that account. I talked to the guys at ifc.js because I know they use that for quite a bit. And he told me that was a great platform. He was really happy about it. It's just that at one point they just switched to being a company, which
Oh, I see.
sense to keep on using that. And but either way, he was quite happy about it, and he said like you should go for it. One other option that was mentioned to me by Eric Fritz was instead of using Patreon, we could use also Coffee, which is slightly cheaper in terms of payment and everything. It's like, I think it's, if you take the $6 thing per month, it doesn't cost you anything other than that. And if not, the fee is very minimum compared to Patreon.
Okay,
But it's still attached to your account at the end of the day,
I
which
see.
is slightly different from the open collective approach.
So what is required to create an account with Open Collective? Is it something that we can set up online, or
You
like,
just need to first register your things, your details in it. And after that, you can have like basically like GitHub, you can manage your team and you can assess roles and everything. You just need to decide which entity is gonna host your account. Pretty much like a bank, like it's just pretty much like picking up a bank. It's just depending on the entity getting the you're picking, you're gonna need to some of them take a bigger fee, but with slightly better services attached to it. And
Right.
some other ones don't take any fee at all. And
So by entity, you mean like a bank? Or Patreon is one of those entities?
no, those are private companies that that allow you to use their account to host the money you're making with pyRevit.
Okay.
So it's pretty much like a non-official banking services kind of thing. And for that service, they take a fee. And that fee is, it depends. It goes from 0 to about 10%, depending. And that gives you how do you say that? A tax location entity or tax number if you want to. And you can make your transaction through them. It's still under the umbrella of Open Collective, but it's still the accounting and everything is going through the companies under Open Collective.
Okay. So I know we talked about this, like we mentioned this and we discussed this. Do you guys feel comfortable moving forward with this? Do you want me to go and set up an account?
I mean, if we talk about the why, maybe first,
Mm-hmm.
it has a chance of using that money to maybe like let's say Bezos spent tons of times on working on the .NET Core. I would think it would be fair maybe to give him some money for that time he spent, even though he did it on his own time and will.
Yeah.
Or for example, if somebody would like to, I don't know, buy some kind of learning to that would benefits to pyRevit or assist to a conference that would benefits or to do a presentation for pyRevit to a conference and would get some sort of stipend for that. That would be a nice feature, I guess.
Yeah, that would be, I'm all for it. That would be great. And I can reroute all the stuff. I guess the only thing that for me is to kind of figure out is that how much of a sort of like a legal setup it requires. Like, does it require for me to register pyRevit in the US and have it like a tax ID number that I can use with Open Collective?
I don't think so.
Okay, so that should be fairly simple. And then we just have to figure out how to basically tell everybody that's a Patreon supporter that, hey, we have a new platform.
Yeah, and organize it
Yeah,
in a certain way.
yeah. And I can move the contributions for at least the last year into the new account. So we'll have a good chunk that we can start with.
I think what we could do, maybe you could set up the thing first because you're the owner of the whole thing. And then after that, we could just put a very little amount of money and see how it works and how we can make it work.
Okay.
And then after that, once we are comfortable with everything, we can just deploy kind of the way to make it work in the
Yeah.
group.
Yeah, make it official. Okay. Okay, that sounds good. I can get it set up. So I guess what we're gathering is that let's go with the Open Collective for the money management side. Let's go with pyRevit Labs organization in GitHub for all the source codes and stuff like that that we have.
Yeah.
Our documentation also goes there with pyRevit repo. We got a YouTube channel and a Twitter account and a couple of like miscellaneous other things. I'll make a one of the choices that I've used before is 1Password. I can make a 1Password account that has our passwords and stuff like that for these different services, different platforms that we use. Or if you can suggest anything else you guys have used for like password sharing. What I'm thinking is that there would be like a one place, or we can even make it a hidden, like a private repo on the pyRevit Labs workspace that has information about the accounts and all that kind of stuff. But I feel like, you know, at the proper password sharing platform like
Password
one
manager
password
would
would
be
be
better.
easier. Yeah. Safer
Seamless.
that way.
Yeah.
And then we can add a couple of people who are the maintainers and need to have access to these things, and we can switch and, you know, all that kind of stuff anytime. And I don't, on the top of my head, I don't really know that if we have anything else in there, like the YouTube and the Twitter and the Notion and a couple of these resources that we have. We got source codes and we got money. So I feel like these three would be pretty much everything that we have around pyRevit.
Me too.
Like I have to share, for example, one of the things I have to do, I have to share the access credentials for Chocolatey in that one password. So anybody else that wants to have access to that.
Or Andrea, mostly.
Yeah.
On that point, I think it's time also to publish to Winget, because it's the package manager that it's built into Microsoft Windows as of now. So it could be a better way to deploy the app for everybody.
Okay.
Yes, as soon as I have time, I will try to add it. It basically will be the first PR to do it. It has to be done manually in the Winget repository, and then we can do a CI to publish automatically.
Okay, that sounds great. We do have one, just to top of my, I just remembered that we do have an email account for pyRevit 2. So when I got the discourse as part of the package for the pyRevit labs, actually not, when I got the DNS for pyrevitlabs.io, as part of the package, I also got an email server. So if you need to set up like admin.whatever and stuff like that and share it so we can set up all these accounts and whatnot, I think we can totally do that too. I'll make the one password, I'll put all this information there.
Yeah. Would be perfect.
Man, this is an official organization now, almost.
So I had just a look to Open Collective, and I looked up the IFC OpenShell page they have. So there's a little presentation of the so-called product. And then it seems quite interesting because they have different topics. For example, they have full infra IFC 4.3 geometry implementation. So I think these, let's call them individual projects, can be financed by different actors who would like these features. So basically it's quite interesting because it seems to give more granular control on the purpose of the initiative. And maybe people from outside can raise topics and can finance them as well. I heard about the IFC OpenShell that they have one programmer at full time now, which is paid basically by the money collected by the site. So this is quite interesting because it's not just depending on someone sitting in the evening somewhere doing the job because he's very gentle, but we can go further. And that also allows, let's say, interested companies to invest in that product and say, well, okay, we need these features in pyRevit. I don't know. And then pyRevit developers can say, yes, okay, API gives us these features, so we will implement that because I don't know, like Jean-Marc did the presentation for BIM Allianz in Germany. There may be some big companies interested to have special features in pyRevit for this. So I think this page can help to propagate and to give a face also to initiatives.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for not contributing for the coding part, but
that's just the fact that you guys are here and talking about it and sharing, like, you know, somebody, just the little thing of somebody doing research on what Open Collective is. I see all of this as contributions. Like at this point, we're all in this together, I guess.
The cool thing about what Jacob was saying is that we talked together a bit a few months back. He said what's difficult right now is that pyRevit doesn't have like one website that centralizes everything and is the official front. You have like Notion on one side, GitHub on the other one, and then you used to have read the docs and all that. And that kind of make it harder for people sometimes to get in. Even people not using on a regular basis, not using a GitHub repo, they don't know what's a release. They don't know how to download things. They don't get it. Like the average Windows user doesn't get it right away. So that at one point maybe we could do just a simple web page,
Yeah.
host like all the places, and just the release section would appear somewhere so that they just have a one download button. They don't have to worry about it. And same goes for the WIP installers, because sometimes people wouldn't need the WIP installers instead. So that would make it easier for people to either use or invest into pyRevit if they want to.
Okay. Which one of us has web development skills? They can make one nice page.
I think pretty much anyone can do that now. It's not that complicated. Make it nice, it's more complicated.
Yeah, that's probably more complicated. Okay, that makes sense. Let's see. I don't know.
The web hosting that you have, is that just a regular web host? Not you just bought the name and an email address, or do you have some kind of hosting, even if it's small?
No, this so what I have a Namecheap account that has a decent gives decent prices for domain names when you want to buy them. And I have two domain names on that. One is pyrevitlabs.io, the other one is the EINSH that I use for my own, crazy blog. The I'll look into see if I can move this into like pyRevit Labs into its own pyRevit account, so you can manage any other domain names that we want to make. But basically, it's just a DNS. It just reroutes to
Okay.
wherever we want to go to. But currently, www.pyrevitlabs.io will go to the wiki pyrevitlabs.io, which basically ends up on Notion.
Yeah.
So we can reroute that to an actual page.
And then from there, reroute to anything
Yeah,
else.
we'll have like, pyRevit logo and downloads and, what's new and whatever, that kind of stuff. We kind of have to figure out the layout for that one. We could even like decide whether we want to keep Notion and slowly move the content from out of Notion to an actual like static website.
I mean, it's kind of
I went with Notion at the time because like we were all spending our time like doing architecture and stuff like that, and it didn't really have a whole lot of time to go and make fixes and stuff like that. And Notion was really quick. So if I noticed there's a misspelling somewhere, I would just quick fix it on the spot and it would be live at that moment. I don't have to commit and wait for actions to build and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, we could use any kind of like Jekyll or something as a static one, because it has nice layouts. It's decent.
Yeah, Jekyll is so we switched in at McNeil, we switched from Jekyll to Hugo. And there's a whole bunch of them these days now, but there are really good tool chains that are built around more modern programming languages like Hugo, like Go or Rust or something like that, that are insanely fast. So it's really good when you're actually editing stuff. It's almost like WYSIWYG. You're editing in the VS Code or whatever, your Markdown file, and the moment you save, the page is updated. Jekyll's problem is that it takes a long time for it to build and preview the thing. It's a little, it's not very efficient.
I tried it, but I never did any decent thing on it.
There's also this other one that I looked at years ago. It's called Gitbooks. That it's like a Git repository, but you can commit a whole bunch of Markdown files and whatnot to it, and it would become a version controlled online resource.
I mean, that could be, that could be a repo in itself.
Yeah. So we got options to, if you want to decide that slowly we want to shift Notion to something else, at least, because like the biggest problem with Notion is like we have to provide access to people, and the more access I have to give to people, it's gonna cost more.
But the editing thing is fine because
Yeah,
I think people able to edit complex setup of a page with just a slash command is just invaluable to me.
it's very nice. And making tables and like database, it has a lot of those features that
You don't want people to try to make a table in Markdown. It is, I mean, even if you know how to do it, it's still a pain.
yeah. Or like the nice gallery of the videos and stuff like that we have, like making those stuff, especially if you kind of need to end up needing a database on that, whatever that website is, then it becomes a little too much of an infrastructure to maintain.
I don't know. We can leave that topic at that for now and maybe discuss it. I mean, if someone wants to put some thinking in it and discuss it furthermore next time.
Can I ask? I'm just curious. Do you think Notion supports like bring your own license sort of deal? Because we, for example, like maybe a lot of people already have Notion support.
Yes.
So whatever Notion works on workspaces, right? So whatever workspace that you create needs to have some sort of a plan associated with it.
And how many users kind of
Yeah,
raises
I think you can invite as many guests as you want, and they can't really make any changes or anything like that. If anybody else has like Notion accounts and whatnot, they can go on this page and they can leave comments, things like that. They can interact with the content. But to actually be able to manage, then they need to be a team member, which means that they kind of contribute to whatever the number of, members per plan that you have. And then what's nice about that is that they can see all the private pages in the Notion. So like, some notes on how to release and all that kind of stuff that don't necessarily need to be public. Like I have a whole page of like crazy ideas and sketches and all that kind of stuff in there. They'll be accessible to everybody. That's part of that team, which is fine. I feel like we're getting, a good amount every month. So we can, if we need to add, a couple of more users in there, that's fine. Obviously, it's not going to be 100 people on the Notion page. It's going to be primarily the maintainers. But something to think about.
Yeah.
Not so many people like to write documentation anyway. So
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. Okay, so pyRevit Open Collective. I have to set that up. We'll do pyRevit labs.io organization for all the codes.
I was looking through a page and I used it at home, this is just to explain you the little bit the idea of it. This is called Univention Corporate Server. This is open source software which runs on Debian. So you install it on your server. And with this basically management software, you can install apps. So there are apps for different purposes. You can install, for example, Nextcloud on it. There are other ones like I will post that in the chat so you can have us. You see the apps which are disponible for the system. So you just install them. You make your users management on the UCS server side. And so you grant access to a bunch of people to that. And there's also, for example, WordPress, which you can install by one click. XWiki I didn't try, but WordPress is quite known for it. But basically, this is a system where you can build for free applications and web services when you have a dedicated web space you have rented and you can route your domain to it. I use that because my wife is a teacher, and when pandemic started, I had to do that stuff a little bit before the others. So I mounted that thing at my home in, 2 days. And on Saturday evening, we went live with this to make, there was no Teams at that time, or it was not propagated. So this was my Swiss knife for making rapidly things, and it's extremely stable. I ran it without backups for 1.5 years, and it never crashed. So this is quite interesting. And I wondered if there is any use of that in context of documentation, but I don't know all these apps. I use Nextcloud on it, and you have Etherpad, Ethercalc, things where you can make it comes from the school management, so that the idea was basically that the pupil has one point to go, and then on this platform he would find all the applications he needs, like timetables and documentation about courses and so on. It's quite interesting, and as it's open source, there's community version which is for free, and then you have paid plans for it. But have a look. Maybe you'll find some interesting things, or it gives ideas. But
Yeah, I think we'll come to, like, we kind of have to decide at some point how much work we want to put in actually maintaining all this infrastructure versus spending that time making pyRevit better and pay a little money to other service providers to do that kind of stuff. Okay, we got a plan.
Yep. Just a question, Hassan, you put your notes in Notion or somewhere else?
I was just taking notes from discussion, but I can put it in the Notion. Where should I put this? Finance. No, next release presentations. Let's just make one in here. pyRevit organization. I think you can see all the pages, right?
I see finance, next release, and the pyRevit ones.
Next release and do you see presentation, channel, scribbles, those kind of stuff?
No.
Oh, okay, so here. Workspace. What are these shared with? What is shared with you? Oh, I see. Oh, okay. Oh, I forgot. The private pages are private. Okay, let me move these to. Okay, some scribbles. Okay, I'm putting more pages under the workspace. They won't be public, just the pyRevit pages public. Extension log. Presentation. pyRevit organization. Organization. Okay. I don't have a good icon for this, but let's do it like that. Wait, I need to take care of the set that up. I'll set that up, and I'll set the 1Password account up also. And then I have to move all these different accounts. Try to figure out where to put them. There's not much we have to do, I guess, move or fork pyRevit under pyRevit labs. We can do that when PyRevit is done with the .NET Core building stuff, and we
Yeah.
have the first sort of like draft builds of pyRevit 5. We can shift the Neo repo into pyRevit labs.
One thing, I don't know how you see it, but for all the improvement we did to pyRevit 4 so far, how do you want to push it back to pyRevit 5 afterwards? Because right now Bizo is doing lots of things, but it doesn't have all the improvement we did in the past.
So in Git, you can merge the old develop into the new develop, and basically because he has all the changes, they'll be applied. Like all these changes, yeah. Unless there's an area that's sort of like.
Yeah, I'm just worried about the amount of conflicts that we might get doing so. That might be a huge task because there's quite a lot. I haven't tried it. I'm just thinking out loud, but that's just one thing that worries me a bit. I'm not so I use GitHub, but like not on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. I think
Do you know?
I'm to be honest with you, I'm not super worried about it because like our stable version would be still pyRevit 4
Yeah.
until we release 5 and then you know a couple of different service releases of that when it gets more of an stable situation. And Revit 2025 just came out. So I don't think anybody's using 2025 in production still. Especially
there's
after
no
the
pyRevit.
2024 problems.
The best part of the software is lacking, so. Just for my comprehension, when you said there could be some conflicts, would that mean, so if you propagate basically the advancements of pyRevit 4 to pyRevit 5, that there could, because there are these conflicts, some scripts which don't run, which ran under 4, which will not run under 5?
He's talking about merge conflicts. So if like there's a source file under 4 that we have made changes to, and then also we have moved it in a different location in pyRevit 5. When you want to merge the old changes, it says, I don't know what to do. You have made changes in both of these.
Okay, yeah, it changed place, so it does not find, yeah.
Yeah. But in theory, we should be able to run everything that runs in pyRevit 4 in pyRevit 5. Because one of the things that we did at McNeil also, we switched, Rhino 8 is .NET Core. So I'm using the .NET Core version of IronPython, which basically works just the same as the old one. So, you know, almost everything should run the same and faster.
I like the and faster,
And faster part, yeah, important.
What I can propose is if someone helps me, I can install this on my working machine. So, but if there's a version of pyRevit 5 running, I can start testing on it with
Okay.
all scripts. But I need the method which allows me that I can work on this machine to keep the machine in production environment for usual daily basis. I don't know exactly how to do this, but if someone has a good idea, I don't know, because Jean-Marc, you talked about you have 2 computers. Is this
I
right?
work with pyRevit CLI to handle the changes of my installs of pyRevit. So I can switch from my regular installer to whatever whatever branch I want to. So you can use any kind of any branch or any PR to switch to working
Where do
pyRevit.
you choose when you start Revit, or?
You do it outside of Revit. Yeah, so before running
Okay,
Revit.
so you go to CLI, you say, I want version B,
You do
start
pyRevit
development.
attach, the
I
pyRevit
want to
attach
crash my
command.
machine. Then you start Revit, and then everything goes wrong. Then you go out, you switch back to production environment.
Back to whatever
Everything is fine and
But
perfect.
usually nothing can really go wrong, as the things that we implement, they don't break pyRevit itself from now on. I mean, only for maybe pyRevit 5 you would have some breaking stuff eventually, but usually switching from one branch to the other one doesn't break anything. It's just adding some more stuff or new tools or anything. So it's not a complicated stuff. You just need to understand the branching in GitHub, how it works.
Yeah, basically, just the gist of it is that you can have a bunch of different pyRevit folders, different versions, different builds, all that kind of stuff. And the command line tool will help you attach these different folders one at a time to your Revits. You can say, I want to attach the first one to my Revits, and then you open Revit and do whatever you want. And like, that doesn't work, close Revit, attach this other one to all my Revits, that kind of stuff. Basically, that's what what I use is, my workflow is that when I'm developing pyRevit, I'm like, hey, but there's one that I have production that's installed, and there's a clone of the repo that I have that's my work in progress. And I can attach this and work on it, and then close it, clear the caches, attach the original, like the production one, and continue working, that kind of stuff.
Is there a place where I can find these procedures to?
So in Notion, you will get most of the
I
things.
think you got to see a page in for the CLI in the Notion. I think it's under, yeah, if you go on the homepage of the Notion wiki, on the right side, when it says get started developing for pyRevit, there's a page for pyRevit CLI. And then there's a subpage that says manage pyRevit clones. So you can get different clones of it. But I think for pyRevit 5, we'll get to a point. We have to get to a point that we have an actual build. Yeah, Bishop, share the page. There we go. So we'll get to a point. That's what I'm waiting for, at least. Like we'll get to a point that we have a whip installer for pyRevit 5, and then we all start testing from there. And I think we have to make it install in a different folder just in case to make sure that it doesn't conflict with the main one. That's what we do for Rhino too. If you get a Rhino 8 or Rhino 9 work in progress, it would install in a Rhino whip folder just to make sure that it doesn't conflict. Yeah, Bizev shared a couple of good pages there in the chat.
Perfect. I will try to find some time to play around with this. And
But at the end of the day, you need only 2 commands. pyRevit clone to clone whatever branch you want with whatever tools you need in. And after that, you need to pyRevit attach. And with these 2, you're good to go. And if you don't know what to do with those, you can just type pyRevit clone -h and you'll get the description and the help file.
right.
I don't know the guy that did design that thing, but it's pretty well designed.
Jean-Marc, by the way, I moved all my other private pages that I had on the Notion into the workspace, so you should be able to see everything now. Even like the stuff that I shared with you previously, they're on the workspace now.
Okay. So you put it in, what's the name of the page?
So like you should be able to see scribbles, extension log, organization, finance, next release, channel, presentation. You should be able to see all of that in the sidebar. In the actual Notion app, basically, right? That you have the sidebar with stuff. Let me share a screen here.
Yeah, I can share my screen, show you, but you see, I
Okay,
don't
so
see.
yeah, CloseNet, close pyRevit. Where are you? pyRevit Labs. Oh, you know what? Okay,
Yeah, maybe
I
I
think,
don't see
yeah.
it.
Okay, let me add you as a member.
Yeah, I'm just a guest for now. That's what
Okay,
it says.
that will change our payment, but that doesn't matter. Let me add you here. Let's see, I'm changing the subscription.
I think you can still have 5 guests, or not guests,
Well,
but
so they won't, yeah, they won't see the workspace space. Okay, add member, Jean-Marc, invite, workspace owner, invite. What you doing? Okay. Okay, now you're a member. So if you share screen again and refresh.
yeah, I see pyRevit Labs HQ. I see everything.
Okay, sweet. What's the HQ? Oh, this is a different, yeah, this is like private, this is a Notion Teams now. I guess we can still, yeah, team spaces.
I think you can still keep it a regular one, not the team one.
Team space settings. Let's see if I can rename this into something that's more reasonable. Yeah. Just pyRevit Labs. Let's just call it pyRevit Labs. Doesn't need to say HQ. Okay. All right, so team space home. I don't really need that. Delete that page. I see. So this version of the Notion, you can create different team spaces. And inside, it's like multiple workspaces per account. Hmm.
Maybe one last thing while you are at it, not specifically about Notion, but the fact that we may do a single web page to host everything and to centralize a bit things. That could be also a starting point to make a website to centralize toolbar creation, like we mentioned last time, like
Mhm.
your PyCo thing and all that. And that would be nice. I put a little bit of thought in it when I was bored, and I was thinking we could eventually just grab everything from the repo, just get all the tools from pyRevit in a centralized database, and then let people pick from that and just grab it from GitHub directly. And so that you would be able to build the YAML file that is necessary and maybe build the small controller that would let you do that.
Yeah, I was thinking about this too. Like the critical thing about making it work like that is that we have to commit to an API. Like the way the game consoles have done. They've said, hey, these are all the functions that we support, and we're committed to this, and you can make carts or games or programs or whatever that uses that API. So we're kind of somewhat doing that already in pyRevit. We have a pyRevit module that does that basically. But it's a little more open in a sense that they can put anything inside that script.
One thing would be also maybe to just put all the logic or all the scripts inside modules directly and just handle every tool with the bundle.yaml file.
Yeah.
That would be a different approach, but at one point that would make things easier in many aspects.
Yeah, the most complicated part, I feel like, is going to be the Python packages. Because if we go down the route of saying, hey, like we have cartridge kind of support for pyRevit, then we have to say pyRevit ships with like a version of requests module and this module and that module. So all of those modules we kind of select, kind of like what Anaconda does. Anaconda comes with a set of Python packages, so you don't really have to worry about different versions and all that kind of stuff and installing packages and whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't know, just a thought. Okay, you are driving this meeting. I don't know if you want to keep going.
No, I think we're good, unless someone else wants to talk, so that we're not only two people talking. You can talk. No, nothing.
I just wanted to ask one thing because we are already touching the CLI topic. So I just realized that there are some functionality which is written in the Notion side but not really implemented yet. Because last time I wanted to play with checking out specific versions or specific commits. It's written in the Notion that it's possible, but after I check the source code, it's still like work in progress. So is it planned if it will be finished, or do you have any plans to improve the CLI any further? I mean, if you get what I mean by this.
Yeah, I mean, we can improve it. We can do anything we want to do, to be honest with you. It's just that
Yeah, that was my question. If do we want to, or we just want to, let's say, downgrade the documentation to remove these parts which are not valid?
And you're saying it's already documented in the Notion pages?
Yeah. Like setting the current branch or setting current version for the clones part, yeah. And when I tried to do it, it was just giving me an error message that it's not implemented yet.
Oh,
I haven't looked at that. I'm just a private CLI user myself.
Yeah, me too.
Part of the code.
Yeah, it's the version finder not yet implemented for Git clones and version setter not yet implemented for Git clones. And it's like commit from 5 years ago.
Oh, I see what you mean. So you can actually set it to it. So yeah, he has to pull the tags on the repo and switch the branch and check out that tag basically to switch it to a specific version. Yeah, this is something, yeah, we're gonna kind of have to have a discussion about these little things after the first draft of pyRevit 5 is out. Because there are a couple of different things happening. First of all is that we're not committing the DLLs to the repo anymore. So that would work with pyRevit
We
4.
switched back to publish them because of one of the problems with the pyRevit CLI.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because of the clone, it's not was not working anymore, so we switched back to
Yeah.
putting the DLLs.
Okay.
But
So
yeah,
we need to work
we
on
need to
the
talk about this. Yeah.
Yeah, so that would make it easier if everything is in the repo, and if you check out a specific versions, all the built DLLs are there. You don't have to worry about building it anymore. But if you change this pattern in pyRevit 5, then the CLI won't work. Like every time you switch a version. Yeah. So we have to get the version basically from the installers that is on the published on the repo, which is far more complicated getting that installed on Windows. Yeah, let's, I guess, Jean-Marc, if you want to like keep a running list of agenda of two stuff to talk about, I guess we can talk about this when the first draft of pyRevit 5 is out.
Yeah. Doing it.
Do you guys have a like an ongoing list of all these issues that we are mentioning in these meetings? I mean, I just checked the forum, but I couldn't get if everything is listed there or not. Or what is the, let's say, the main location for these open topics?
I mean, we could make a public page on Notion, maybe. Like
Or like
pyRevit.
every time, like if you want to start a thread on the discourse
Yeah.
that says like pyRevit meeting 5, and then people can comment and we can update the main message before the meeting with everybody's ideas about the agenda. This way it would be a little more public than the actual wiki page. Like over the past 4 years at McNeil, I ended up loving the forum and just conversations on discourse because it's just so much easier to have a conversation and track it and search for it and share it with other people and all that kind of stuff. That it
The only
kind
thing is that whenever the topic keeps on popping up,
yeah, I've
kind
kind
of-
of accepted that as a form of documentation, to be honest with you. As long as you can go, as long as you're diligent enough that you're like, after the conversation is done, you can go back to the top and update it with the messages so people don't have to read the whole thread or have like one summary post or something like that. But with the new AI tools, we don't really have to do that anymore. Like we activated the ChatGPT on our forum, on the McNeil forums, and I can click on that button and say, hey, give me all the posts that people discuss this specific thing in there. And we'll search the whole forum and give me all of that. It's pretty good way of searching for things. So, yeah,
that's
so if you can,
it's also a discourse one or a Discord one.
yeah, that's also a Discord. That's why I got the idea from setting up Discourse, because I saw the McNeil forum. I'm like, this is good enough, and I really like the Stack Overflow structure, and Discourse is modeled after that. So I think as much of a conversation, like these days, even if somebody emails me directly, I usually point them to the forum. Say, hey, like, if you answer this question on the forum, you get answers a lot faster than I can reply to you. So if you can, switch all the conversations or shift all the conversation towards the forum, I think it's better for everybody.
That makes sense.
We might end up like having to increase our storage and stuff like that so people can share files and whatnot.
I mean, so far it hasn't been a problem because most of the time they just share a piece of code or they just send a WeTransfer or whatever. So I haven't seen any kind of post with an issue like that. Don't worry too much about it.
Yeah, McNeil Forums has a lot of renderings and videos. Those can get pretty big.
We don't have the API to do renderings yet.
Yeah, we don't. Enscape and everybody else will take care of that part.
Okay. If you don't mind, let's conclude.
Okay.
And I'll put the recording on in the Notion pages like I did last time, and on YouTube as well if you guys want to go back to it. And we'll meet up next month. And I'll propose you a date, Isan, so that it works with you.
Any like Mondays, they're fine.
So every Monday from now on.
Every Monday from now on. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. See you guys. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, guys. Thanks
Thanks
everyone.
for organizing.
Bye. Thank you.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay.